Cleveland County. Happy 2020, a brand new year, the month of January, on a beautiful sunny day. My goodness gracious sakes. We're here in the middle of Sherry Green, our par excellence farmer who grows livestock and vegetables, has eggs, all that, makes bacon, the whole business. We all know that. If you followed this program, you know the wonderful foods that she creates. I'm also here with Jamie Swafford, who is a chef, a local chef here in Cleveland County, who not only cooks but grows his own vegetables. Am I correct with that, Jamie?
That's right.
And what we're doing, Jamie is getting ready to cook for an event that's being held by Uptown Shelby, which you can Google and find out, for the May 9th production. And see if you can get tickets for that. Tickets are already sold for this upcoming Saturday event, which will be more of products that were grown last year and preserved. But we're doing some Brussels sprouts here. This is your latest project, Sherry. And please tell us how you have been able to grow these wonderful looking plants.
All right, this is the third time I have tried Brussels sprouts, and I finally figured out a thing or two. This year, I bought these seedlings from S&K Greenhouse, wonderful people, and as early as they arrived at the greenhouse, first thing, I snapped them up and got them in the ground because Brussels sprouts take more than 100 days to mature, and I have discovered that you can grow them in the fall and in the spring, but they really don't do well unless you grow them in the fall because Brussels sprouts will turn bitter if they mature in warm weather.
Oh, sure.
Here in the south, our spring heats up fast and it's working against us.
Right,
You'll get
right.
a beautiful stand of Brussels sprouts in the spring, but they will be bitter.
Okay.
Almost certainly. They would need a late frost to be good, and we don't want a late frost in the spring. So
Right,
if
right,
you grow them
right.
in fall, you've got the weather working with you because it's gradually getting colder. They like cold weather. So I planted these at the very end of July or the very earliest in August that I could get these in the ground. And they've been standing here ever since. These mature from the bottom up, and they grow leaves, a leaf at each sprout.
Okay.
And the leaves will start to die back from the bottom up as those sprouts mature. And when you start to see those first leaves at the very bottom turning yellow,
Right.
it's time to start trimming them because then they will put their energy into finishing out those sprouts.
In the Brussels.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Some farmers cut off those leaves and cut off the tops as well so that there is nothing taking energy away from the sprout production, but I love those leaves.
Okay.
They are delicious.
Okay,
Even Martha
great.
Stewart has recipes for
Brussels
cooking the
sprout
Brussels
leaves.
sprout leaves.
Whoa.
Yes. So,
Can't go wrong with Martha Stewart.
Right, Martha knows. And so, so you can use those leaves just like collards, and all of the leaves that I have trimmed off, any that aren't turning yellow
Right.
already, they're still good and healthy. I have been selling those to customers, been eating them at our own table, fixing them like collards. They're absolutely delicious. And then I harvest the entire stalk with that top on.
Right.
And so that's what I
do
take
you
to
want
market.
to take your clippers right
I
now?
will. I will
And
show
we're
how that
going
works.
to demonstrate. Actually, could you let Jamie do that?
Would you like to?
Because
Sure.
he is our customer
Sure.
who has come to pick for the Uptown Shelby event.
I use anvil pruners for this because you can't just break them off, and I can't get a saw to work. So there it is. That's all you do.
That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
let's. How about just get back in position, Jamie, and we're just gonna focus in on. Look at this, and of course these, and this is where you've cut the leaves off.
Yes,
Am I
ma'am.
correct, Sherry? Look at that.
Yeah.
And then
You
Jamie.
just twist them off. Twist the sprouts off.
All right. Oh, twist. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're going to, well, there you go. See how easy that was?
Yeah.
Wow. And of course, you're going to be doing something with the leaves of the Brussels. Am I correct?
Yes.
They look like mini cabbages, but what a wonderful thing. So I'm sorry, you all, if you don't have a ticket and aren't coming Saturday, you won't know what he's going to do with this. But he is also going to be our chef. So he's not only the customer on the farmer part, but he's going to be the chef when we start cooking. So you'll come up with something, won't you?
Of course.
Of course. Well, is there anything else, Sherry, that we need to talk about? We're eating the leaves, we're eating the Brussels, we know how to plant them. I do notice if we've had some of this white stuff shown on film, is that this is what you make your hoops and your...
Yes, I use this row cover as protection. If the temperatures are threatening to drop into the teens, I will cover these Brussels sprouts so I don't get any damage.
Right.
But they're hardy down into the 20s.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
And they have done just fine. I have left them exposed into the 20s, but the teens make me a little bit nervous.
Well, I understand. But I believe after this, after we're through filming this, Jamie is going to take the rest of these. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Because he will need that for his production on Saturday.
Yes.
Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you'll go out and try Brussels sprouts. But Jamie's going to show us how to eat them and fix them and eat them. So, anyway, stay tuned. We'll be with Nancy, and she can tell us all the good things about Brussels sprouts.
Listen up. Do you have a passion for cooking? A desire to learn more about the craft of professional food preparation? If so, now's a great time to check out Cleveland Community College's brand new Culinary Arts Academy. This exciting 3-month program offers hands-on training for jobs in the food service industry. Across the nation, food service is one of the fastest growing industries. With your training at CCC's Culinary Arts Academy, you can compete for jobs in hotels, restaurants, conference centers, cruise ships, and other settings. Enroll in CCC's program and you'll gain in-depth training in food procedures, preparation, and commercial kitchen operations. Plus, the program includes a special add-on. You'll get your certificate in cardiopulmonary resuscitation or CPR training. You can earn good money too. Depending on where you work, starting salaries range from $20,000 to $50,000. In just 12 weeks, you can be well on your way to gaining the know-how to handle food safely, properly, as a true professional. Now ask yourself, are you ready to start your journey today at CCC?
Welcome back, Cleveland County. Well, it was raining when we filmed The Farmer, Nancy, and it's still raining outside. Gracious
Rainy
sakes
season.
alive. Yes, it is. Welcome to Cleveland County Kitchen. Again, I'm Deborah Blanton, and I'm here with Nancy Abassier-Kong, the Family and Consumer Sciences Director.
Agent.
Well, you can be a director. Of
okay.
course you can.
Certainly.
And of course, you know we're talking about Brussels sprouts, and I think they're the most fascinating vegetable. Growing, which we saw in the farm, Nancy,
Okay.
and then with what all we can do with these wonderful vegetables. So if you will please, first of all, tell us why we need to eat these things.
All right, I'll be glad to. Well, Deborah, Brussels sprouts are really another one of those nutritious vegetables. They are what we would call nutrient dense, might be called a superfood, again, because they are small but packed with nutrition. They are an excellent source of vitamin C, and we know that vitamin C is important for a healthy immune system, helps to fight off infections and so forth. Also an excellent source of vitamin K, which
yes.
is important for healthy blood and bone health. Good source of vitamin A, and we know again, vitamin A, lots of antioxidants and all kinds of things that our systems need. So those are 3 important vitamins right there that we get, in
All right.
addition to folate and potassium.
Okay. Well, and if we cook them like a lot, would we lose a lot of these nutrients?
Yes.
So I would hope you can talk about how we can serve them, leaving all the nutrients in them.
Okay. One other nutrient, let me mention, is, well, calcium is there.
Okay.
But also protein.
Oh,
Brussels sprouts are one of the few vegetables that also have some protein.
how fascinating.
So lots of reasons to eat that.
Yes, yes.
Now, when we cook Brussels sprouts, and you can eat them raw, you can eat them
Yes,
fresh,
yes.
just shredded in a salad,
Of course.
or with a slaw or something like that.
Oh, and excuse me for interrupting, but also the leaves of the Brussels sprouts taste just the same as Brussels sprouts and are just as healthy, I would imagine.
Yes, that's right. The leaves can be used, and we can pull the sprout apart into leaves if you want to cook it that way.
Right. Of course, I was
But
referring to the leaves
top,
of the plant.
That's right, that grow on the stalk, the top of the stalk.
Exactly.
Those are edible. And certainly, if you have the stalk and have that available to you, certainly do plan to use those.
Also, Sherry mentioned the stalk itself. If you want to split the stalk, split it open, scoop out the inside, it's still good. Yeah, that's
Well, that's a
something
new way to me.
And of course, I have to mention the Shelby Star in Wednesday's paper. Brussels sprouts are nutritious and delicious, so they give also recipes here. And one of the things was sautéed shaved Brussels sprouts. Can you explain how to do a shaved Brussels sprout?
Yes, we often eat Brussels sprouts whole or cut in half, but if you shave them, then you would, and when you're doing Brussels sprouts, trim off the end and any of the outer leaves that might be dry or whatever.
Right.
Trim that off, cut it in half, wash them before you cut them, and then just put the flat side down on your cutting board, and then just slice.
I think that's just a fabulous
And that
way.
gives you that shaved, as thin or as thick as you would like that to be.
Right. Thank you for watching. You've already seen a glimpse of the chef, so stay tuned.
I would tell anybody that's interested in getting broadcasting that this is a really exciting field to be in. The possibilities are endless. And every day is different. There's always something new. You're always on your toes. I think the good thing about, a school like Cleveland Community College is they're really good at keeping up with the latest technologies. My experience with the broadcasting program has been everything and more. I've hosted a television show here. I've done radio shows. I've made my own commercials, all kinds of exciting things, digital animation. And I've never thought I'd have a career in news that I enjoy. It's just really exciting to, have a career where you're in control of what 2 million people in the area are watching every night. It's really exciting and enriching and fulfilling work. It doesn't feel like a job. I mean, I get to hang around all day and make television. I mean, just listen to that.
Now the question is, are you ready to start your journey today?
Well, welcome back, Cleveland County. As promised, here's Jamie Swafford. He is our chef for the month of January. And Jamie, you're just famous in the county, and now I find out you're famous from Winston-Salem down to Atlanta with all the things that you're doing and using all these farm products. As you're aware, we're doing Brussels sprouts because we saw you at the farmer's place, and we're showing you what we talked about with Nancy, how you can have this stock of Brussels sprouts. We've got it stuck in water to keep it fresh.
Correct. Thanks for having me, Deborah.
Oh,
I'm happy
you're
to be here.
welcome.
If you see a Brussels sprout like this, run to it, grab it, take it with you. These are as fresh gets for Brussels sprouts. And normally what you would see in the store would be this, and who knows how long those things have been there. After they age a little bit, they'll start to fall off. But these are super fresh from Sherry Green Family Farms. What a commitment to grow these things. It takes over 5, sometimes 6 months in the ground. So to be able to make a commitment, farmers need customers to make that same commitment to buy these things and use them. One thing that I like to do is to use everything, and that's what I want to talk about today. I will sit this guy down.
Okay.
So we're going to use the Brussels sprouts. Being January, these things are fresh in the field. They're ready to go, but also January, people are thinking healthy-ish.
Right.
So I think that's a good place to start. I wanted to do a salad with the Brussels sprout leaves, the petals, and I'll show you how to do that. And then that's the healthy part, and then the ish part I think will be
I
bacon.
love it.
Everybody loves bacon. So what we've done is diced our local bacon, and I'm going to put that into the pan, and we'll render that down, and it will create its own fat.
Oh,
and then
sure.
it will just cook down in that. So while that's going,
Okay.
we will do the dressing.
Dressing for the salad, okay.
I like a good buttermilk dressing. I use Homeland Creamery. I pick it up at the grocery store. Only a small amount is going to be used, but the first thing we'll do is put 1 egg yolk in here.
All right, and here you go.
Okay, 1 egg yolk will go in. A tablespoon of mustard, Dijon.
Mustard, I can see that. Yep, there we go.
Now, you can leave this egg yolk out and have a vinaigrette. We're making a creamy dressing, but it could also be a vinaigrette. We'll do a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
And this is Bragg's. Use your favorite apple cider vinegar. Red wine vinegar, it would work with balsamic. Just use what you like the best. And then also a 1/4 cup of buttermilk.
Okay, there we go.
Now, I will add a pinch of salt.
And
A
we've
little-
got it like, well, just like this.
A little crack of pepper. And then I like to balance that out with a little bit of sweet. So I use honey, just a tablespoon. And this is local honey, the best you can find.
And we have quite a few local honey farmers, I guess we can call them that.
Correct. And the closer the honey is to you, the better for your body it is. Because they're feeding on local pollen. And that's going to help
which
you
is what
fight
we,
allergies.
sure it is.
Yeah, so that's,
Remember that. That's a
so
good,
that's in there.
helpful hint.
And then I always like, I'm going to stir this bacon while we're talking.
Uh-huh.
And I always like a little bit of greenery, a little freshness, and I would use whatever we have. I found some beautiful parsley at Sherry Greens as well.
Okay.
And then there's little green onions all
Spring
over
onions.
it. So just like 5 or 6 sprigs of the parsley, and I took 1 green onion and just chopped that up.
Okay.
And we're going to put all of that in there, and we're going to cover it, and we're going to spin it. And we just want to get those herbs nice and chopped up. And then I have a 1/2 cup of non-flavored oil. You want canola, vegetable, grapeseed oil is my favorite. Olive oil tends to have a strong flavor.
It does.
So we want the flavor of everything that's in here. So what we're going to do is just drizzle that in while it's spinning. And that's going to emulsify with the fat that is the egg yolk. And about a 1/2 cup. You tell me when.
Oh my goodness. It's about when.
I think that's
It's about
it.
when.
And then,
And the other fun thing about this recipe, if you're vegan, you know, you can eliminate the egg and
the buttermilk.
and the buttermilk.
yeah,
Yes.
and just use the other ingredients. We'll make a classic French vinaigrette.
Correct.
Yeah. If you have lemon juice, you can squeeze a little lemon juice in there as well. We'll give that a taste. Oh, that's beautiful. Green goddess, I think we call
Oh
that.
yeah, it looks green.
So we have the dressing.
Okay.
Now we'll move this guy out of the way. This bacon is still cooking down, and we will let that continue to cook. Now let's talk about the
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts. So after we've pulled them off of the plant, we have these guys. And I like to just take the edge off a little.
Right.
And then we're going to start to peel these guys. And I have this funky little knife that I can just core it out a little bit.
And of course, what we've done or should do is rinse these right before we do all this.
We rinse those. I'm going to rinse them after
Oh,
I do it.
Well, okay.
So
We haven't rehearsed this.
It helps crisp them up.
Okay.
Like once they're separated out like that.
Okay.
So I will pull that off, and then continue to I core that out a little
Pour it
bit.
out,
And you're going to use about half of it this way. There's going to be a center part, the heart.
Right.
Which
is, I guess, this little thing right here, almost like a cabbage.
Yeah.
And we talked about the Brussels sprouts are of the cruciferous family.
Yeah.
Which is what cabbage is as well.
Exactly. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, I know.
The bacon is rendering down nicely, producing some fat. The next thing we're going to do, and we have some petals that have already been rinsed. I'm going to take one apple. And these are just some local Pink Lady apples from Davis Family Orchard, just outside of Cleveland County.
Okay.
I love those guys. I love what they do. And I support them with their cider and their apples. And then I peel. You don't have to peel.
Oh, okay, sure.
But I'm going to crisp up these Brussels sprouts, so we're going to have plenty of texture in the salad.
All right.
And then I will just slice that down like so. And then we're going to just slice these into...
So that's kind of like shredding an apple.
Kind of like it. Yeah. So that is what we're going to do with the apple. And we have the bacon working. And then we have some local pecans.
Oh, of course, sure.
Cleveland County is the place to get your pecans. We have 2 trees in my grandmother's yard that we're able to harvest from every fall.
Oh, how wonderful.
And the pecan guy lives near you. So the bacon is continuing to render. We're going to move that off to the side. I have some bacon here that is already crispy.
Okay, good.
We have our vinaigrette. We're going to take our Brussels sprout petals.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is use a little bit of...
and these are the same as these?
These are the same as these.
Good.
These have been rinsed and dried.
Okay.
A little bit of olive oil from Uptown Olive.
Yes.
A little bit
and I
of...
highly recommend them so much.
A little salt, a little pepper.
Okay.
Always season as we go. And then I'm just going to toss this to coat it with oil. I have a pan here. And we will slide these guys on the pan. Spread them out. I have the oven on at about 425 on bake. And we're going to put these guys into the oven.
And of course, the miracle of television, we actually have obviously done this to prep for the show. So this is what they look like, already done.
Yeah. So now we're ready to go to the plate.
Okay.
Let's move this guy here.
And while you're scooping that up, I'm going to show the audience. Remember at the top of that big long stalk of Brussels sprouts, we had like the crown. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, that's what I call it.
The crown right there. And he split it in half. And you can put this on the grill.
On the grill?
You can put this in the oven.
Roast it in the oven. Seasoned just like I seasoned the petals. A little olive oil, a little salt, pepper. And it gets crispy on the outside and it's nice, nice and crunchy in the center.
Right,
It's like a vegetable of its own. And then also, because I do like to use everything, these are the stems. This is the top part of the long stem. The outside is tough and fibrous, but if you peel that down, you are left with what, if this was in an animal bone, it would be called marrow.
Right.
So we call it vegetable marrow. And it is great just by itself.
Here we go. And as I describe this is like a celery without the strings.
And I think that that's, in my mind, that's where all the nutrients travel through the plant.
They do.
So I think that's the healthiest part.
I would totally agree.
Eat your vegetables, everyone. I'll take that vinaigrette.
Yep.
dressing. We'll put that on the plate.
Now, he's not only a chef, he's an artist in the kitchen, too. I want you to see that. Let's see if we can make that a little more visible.
And then a little bit of bacon.
And this would be like an individual salad plate.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
All of these things could be tossed in a bowl, and then you could make one for every member of the family. But just to plate and show that
Sure.
plate,
Mm-hmm.
we'll do this. The pecans.
Okay. Oh, yes.
And then we'll take our crispy Brussels sprouts. And those will go, you can hear that nice crisp texture.
Yes, yes.
And that will go on there.
Oh, my.
So we talked about the stem, we talked about the crown. Now let's talk about the hearts.
Yes.
One thing I like to do is, I love fermented foods. I love sauerkraut. I love kimchi. I love all of those things. I don't like to waste. So I take the outside leaves of the plant, and just to show you, one, I would take these and roll it up, and then I will dice it. I call this chiffonade is the cut.
And you have to have a sharp knife.
You have to have a sharp knife.
And talented, so you don't do that to your fingers.
And a chef told me one time, if you never put your finger in front of the blade, you'll never cut yourself. And that's easier said than done.
Okay, I'm sure it is.
We put these in a bowl, and then the same, like these hearts could go in that same food processor and be chopped up, or they could just be chopped up like this.
Okay, so that's another shredded example.
So that could go into the bowl, and just a touch of salt. And then we give that a nice massage. And it will start to break down the cell walls, and that will start
So you
releasing.
massage it and crush the cell walls, and then the salt brings the liquid in there out?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it will create its own liquid.
Okay.
And so what I'm making is Brussels sprout. And I started
You say that fast, Brussels sprout.
And I've started about here. Now, the key is to keep everything submerged underneath this liquid. I did have to use a little bit of filtered water. I don't use tap water. Just because of fermentation, we don't want anything to interact with that.
Right.
But filtered water, and I took a Ziploc bag and filled it up with water and placed it in there
Yes.
so to keep everything weighted down.
What a great, and this is what, can this breathe through that
Yes.
cheesecloth? It
Yeah.
can breathe, okay.
Yeah, any kitchen towel or even a paper towel with a little rubber band. You sit that on display in your kitchen, and everyone will ask questions. After about 7 days, I will taste it.
Okay.
And when it gets to where I like it, usually a little longer than that. I like it funky.
Okay.
And then it's good to go. Great probiotics.
Oh, of course.
Really healthy for you. And the only thing that is not going to be used can be eaten by the chickens.
Well, that sounds great if you have chickens.
That is great.
Well, good. So we've got everything. Jamie, I can't thank you enough.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome, and good luck. You have 4 jobs, you were telling me, so good luck with every one of them and traveling to them.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for watching, Cleveland County. We'll see you next month.
Eat your Brussels sprouts.